Right, hello. So our lesson today, the topic is to express one quantity as a percentage of another. And also we'll be looking at finding the percentage of a number. So we'll go through the difference between that soon. And also this will help clarify with some of you with the word problems that you did for numeracy. The skill was to find a percentage of a number and some of you struggled with that. So hopefully this lesson will help you with solving those questions. All right, so our goal is to be able to express one quantity as a percentage of another. For warm-up, these are your 5 questions. If you can do this, pause the video at this point, and if you can do these in your books, that'll be fantastic. For APK, so we're looking at 2 concepts today. What is the difference between these 2 images? So one concept that we're learning today is expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. And then the next part of the lesson, we're learning about finding the percentage of an amount. So if you're looking at these 2 examples, feel free to pause the video before I go through it and just have a think about what the difference is between these 2 things. So with the first one, it says 3 out of the 10 lollies are green. And so you're expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. So basically you're converting this to a percentage and saying that 30% of the lollies are green. Whereas here where we've got percentage of an amount, we typically see that when we're going to the shops and if there's a sale on 30% off certain items, then you are working out what the new cost is by working out the percentage of an amount. So if there's 30% off a coat and the coat costs $100, you work out what 30% of 100 is, and that's $30. So the new cost of the coat is $70. So those are the type of calculations you would do under this skill here. All right. So expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. To express one number as a percentage of another, you first form a fraction using the 2 numbers, and you'll in a minute work out what we mean by the 2 numbers, and then you multiply it by 100. All right. Remember when we discussed percentages, I said whenever you're trying to work out the percentage of something, you normally multiply by 100. So the formula to work out the quantity as a percentage of another is the given amount over the total amount and then times it by 100. So if I said to you on a test, I sat for a test and I got 42 out of 60, what is that as a percentage? So my given amount there is 42. The total I could have got on the test was 60. So 42 over 60. And then you times it by 100. Now you can simplify this any way you like. You can either put 42 divided by 60 in your calculator and then times it by 100. Or you can just simplify and put a denominator here as 1. And then you can simplify how you normally simplify when you're multiplying fractions. Regardless, you should always get the same answer, which is 70%. All right. So we're looking at another example here of the same skill. This time it's a worded problem. So in a street of 20 houses. Now, reading this, I can tell total number of houses is 20. 8 of them, so the given amount is 8. 8 of them have backyard swimming pools. What percentage is this? So remember, the given amount over the total amount, and then you times it by 100. So in this case here, we've got 8 over 20 times by 100, and so you should end up with 40%. All right. The next thing we're looking at is to work out the percentage of an amount. So to find the percentage of an amount, our final answer is not a percentage. We're working out what 50% of 10 is. For example, 50% of 10 is 5. It's not 5%. So we're not trying to work out our final answer is not going to be a percentage. We are calculating a percentage of an amount. So 60% of $120. So what you normally do is, percentage means out of 100. So 60% means 60 out of 100 or 60 over 100. So you first write that percentage as a fraction like we've done here. And then you multiply it by the given amount. What are you trying to work out? This percentage of what amount? That you times it by it. And so again, you can use any method you like to calculate it. And that should give you 72. So 60% off $120 is $72. All right. Now, worded problem. 25% of students in a school watched the tennis grand final. Calculate how many people watched the tennis grand final if the population of the school is 1,500 students. So 25% off 1,500. Now, one other thing that we've mentioned previously is when you see the word off in maths, it's always timesing. Percentage is always out of 100. So therefore, I do 25 over 100 times 1,500. Now, in this case, I've put over 1 because we know that any number over 1 is the same number. So what I've done here is 25 times 1 is 25. 25 times 4 is 100. So I've simplified. And then 1 times 1,500 is 1,500. 4 times 1 is 4. And then when you simplify it, you get 375. So that's the number of people who watched the tennis grand final. All right, so for your coursework, again, as usual, you log into Delch Learning, go into Year 7 Mathematics folder, and you will find Term 2 Exercise 3, which is expressing percentages. Complete all the questions before the next lesson, please. And if you're unable to get any of the answers right, you can come back to this PowerPoint, view it again, or I will be on Microsoft Teams and you can let me know so I can support you. All right, and a quick goal review. Make sure you create a worded problem to calculate a percentage of an amount. So give it a try and see if you can create your own worded problem. All right, thank you.